Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to MBM Country Living. It is Monday, so you know what we do on Monday. We talk about man building. This is our Man Building Monday, episode 3. It takes strong women to build strong men. More to come. Okay, guys, now we're back. It takes strong women to raise strong men. I did not want people to think that I discounted what the impact and the effects of a strong woman can do on a child. In their very young and formative years. I have been blessed to have had the wisdom and the tutelage of strong women in my life from birth. My mother being one, my grandmother being one, my mother's mother. My father's mother to a lesser degree, but it was mainly because I just wasn't around her that much. I grew up in my grandparents' house, my mother's parents, and we lived there until Mom met my dad, and then they went off and started their own family. My mother graduated high school, started college as a single woman in the late 60s and early 70s, which was less than ideal. Went to school, got a teaching degree, got a teaching certificate, got a bachelor's, got a master's. This is all as progressed through life, and then specialized, and then got further degrees in special education and child development, stuff like that. All kinds of cool stuff. And Mom retired from the public school system. So she did that, and she's just a very kind little bitty lady. My mom, my grandmothers, while they were both small in stature, they were large in spirit. My grandmother was a very quiet, very powerful lady. She was, I believe this is correct, she was initially from Georgia. Her family came from Georgia. She was Cherokee. And from there, they went to North Alabama, Double Springs, some kind of, for those of you who know that area. And so ended up in North Alabama. Her and my grandfather met, of course, and got married and all that stuff. And the family owned property up there until they sold it all and then moved further down into South Alabama. And so that's about all I know from my grandparents. But my grandmother, she was a very quiet, very reserved lady, and she did not talk loosely. She was very quiet, and she would say something, but when she said something, it carried weight. And we played and laughed and talked, and and she kept me while Mom was going to college. And so I just learned so much about how to go do different things outdoors, and how to, what to do, what you can find and stuff like that from my grandmother and my grandfather. Granddaddy was more the farmer type, and my grandmother, well, I called her Momo, M-O-M-O, for some reason. And so Momo was more of the foraging, or something along those lines. And so it was a very good combination for them. And I have been asked before, do I think that they loved each other? Some. It's a fair question. Some, in their own way. I'm sure they did. They were very thrifty, very frugal people, and they raised me. And somewhere along the way, I lost a lot of that frugality. But it comes and goes with the things that occur in my life. And so I had a really good grounding through my mother, my grandmother. I can remember being 4 or 5 years old and helping can and pick and, you know, preserve everything out of the garden, learning how to set stuff aside. And my grandmother, she was a very good cook, very quiet lady, very, very spiritual Christian lady. And so we were always at church all the time. Good God, we were there all the time. But they instilled in me a quiet peace and acceptance of things. Sometimes I forget those things. Sometimes I forget, and I go off and I try to beat life or wrestle life, and it doesn't always end well. And a quiet resignation and an understanding of what you have to do. More to come. Okay, guys, now we're back. So it wasn't all fun and happy and all that stuff. There was a lot of hard lessons. I had to have beaten into me. And by beaten, I mean ass whipped with a belt, or go pick a switch. You guys remember that? You go out to that privet. That's why I hate privet to this day. It's one thing I don't have growing on any of my property. I'll pull it up or burn it. I hate privet. I used to get beat with it so much. But I probably wasn't beat enough, truth be told. But a lot of the lessons were hard lessons. Speaking on frugality and using what you had to get by, there was, I mean, I could write books on the stuff that my grandparents did, and who knows, maybe one day I will, about how they did what they did to get by and do things. And then they are always saving for, what did they call it? In case something bad happens. They're saving it. They always said, set aside a little bit in case something bad happens. And I don't do enough of this. Most people don't. But we're not talking about most people. We're talking about me. So that is something I failed at. But it was funny. They both went through cancer, and they both passed away from cancer. And cancer and dementia. And neither one of them, through all the cancer treatments and everything, they would not touch their account, their bank account, because they were saving it for in case something bad happens. And it was mind-blowing when they died. Granddaddy died first, and then Momo died 6 or 8 months after that. She was ready to go. Like I said, they might not have loved each other a whole lot, but they liked each other. And so she was ready to go be with him, so she died. And if you gotta go, it's a good way to go. But they had close to like $100,000 in their penny saving account. this from people who never made more than $9,000 a year combined. How about that? Crazy stuff. Anyway, it takes strong women to raise strong men. So ladies, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. I tip my hat to you. We need you, and we need more of you to make strong men. Take care of you people.